back to Business Center. We're talking about the marketing and advertising sector, where industry players are calling for changes in terms of self-regulation through the MSK Bill 2022. And we are now joined by MSK Communication and Marketing Manager, Roshilda Kamanga.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving us time.
Okay.
Now, first thing first, looking at the MSK Bill 2022, how is it going to be important to businessmen and the entire economy at large?
Okay, so the MSK Bill ideally, like you said, is trying to bring self-regulation into the marketing industry. And it's because of the dynamics that are coming in marketing now. You know, digital is here. You know, how are we able to remain ethical? How are we able to remain professional in the kind of marketing that we're putting out? And that's why we felt it's important to draft the MSK Bill 2022. And ideally what it is providing is how are we going to regulate this sector? You know, how are we going to make sure that everyone who is going into a business or is going to come up with a marketing strategy, a consultant within the marketing field, is a professional person. And you see, once we're able to self-regulate these people, means that businesses will get the right kind of personnel, means you get people who are professional, people who are educated in that field, and therefore when you're putting out your brands or your products out there, means you're doing it in the most ethical way, because these are people who will have been credited, will have been examined. Yes, so at the end of the day, it means that businesses will get the right kind of people to help them in their marketing. And what we have seen is people getting celebrities and or just people randomly to come and do a marketing strategy for them, and it doesn't work for the business. And you find that's why maybe some businesses have a stereotypical way. When crisis comes, the first budget to be cut is the marketing budget. But it is marketing that is gonna keep your brand relevant even in the crisis. It is the marketing of your product or your brand that's gonna build a loyalty. So after the crisis, how will people continue to engage with you and your product? You see, and maybe some of these things because people invest in a marketing person who has not been certified, who is not credible, and they end up maybe spending money and they don't get the return on investment. And that's why we feel it's important for us to be able to self-regulate the people that are coming into this industry to ensure that businesses get the right people and they get the right profits and the economic value of continuing to market their product and their brand.
Looking at small businesses, these are the businesses that really marketing has been an issue for them, okay? Then here comes a bill that, as you're saying, gives these businesses the right people to market them, right? So how is this bill going to help the MSMEs and the small businesses?
Definitely SMEs, you know, both those ones that are professional or you know, the Juakalis, all of this fall under the SMEs, making almost 40% of our economy, which is actually a large percentage of the businesses here are in the micro and small category. And you see, if we're able to give them the right kind of marketing personnel, because a lot of SMEs don't put a lot of money into marketing, let's be honest. You'll not find an SME on a billboard. You know, you'll not find an SME on the TV, but you'll find them on digital. You know, but who are you getting to run for you this digital campaign? You know, so at the end of the day, what we really want is to be able to build the capacity of these SMEs. So, you know, AFCFTA is here. How are you going to be able to access that? Because it's marketing that is going to sell your product to other African countries. And it's the digital space and technology that you're going to be able to use. But how do you get the right person who has the right kind of knowledge to help to sell your brand to the African continent? You know, that's why we need these people to come. We need to be able to say that the person that you're employing, we need to certify them. That this person we're employing as MSK, we've seen this person is credited, he has gone through the training, he has the certificates, and yes, this is a person that can be able to build your brand. And it's because, again, SMEs don't put a lot of money into marketing. And it's actually one of the business development objectives or services that SMEs are lacking, you know, and because of that, they're not able to build or to get the income the right way. So as MSK and within the bill, we'll be able to credit people even for those social media campaigns that you're running. Someone who's coming to build for you a strategy, why should you go on a billboard? You know, they should be able to tell you why. You know, are you in FMCG? You know, are you in a fast-moving good? And if it's a fast-moving good, this is the kind of marketing that you should be able to do. So what we're trying to do is give them the right personnel, the right people to help their businesses grow, you know, tap into larger markets. AFCFTA is here. year, and that is what we want them to be able to do.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting how you keep mentioning the right people.
Yes.
But if you're looking at right now how celebrities are using their platforms to market for other people, but then usually you hear of scandals that, okay, this product does not exist, or this page does not exist, but it was advertised by this and this kind of celebrity. And at the end of the day, consumers get to be affected. Is this bill going to prevent that?
Ideally, we must, acknowledge that, celebrities and the dynamics of marketing are changing. Like I said, technology and the transformation of technology has gone beyond the capacity. We're not able to regulate it. There's TikTok, there's Instagram, Snapchat, different markets, different age groups, and therefore different brands, when they do their research, they say this is the platform that they need to go. Who has the biggest following? This is the person that we use. In terms of the consumers, I must say, the beauty of being a society is we'll continue to work with like-minded people. I know there's a consumer authority that is there that is keen on addressing issues in terms of consumers, and those are the kind of people that we're looking to work with so that we can be able to link, how is this bill going to be effective at the end of the day to the consumer, because this is the person that we're trying to sell. So as we continue to develop and come up with regulations to really help the sector to achieve its overall objective, those are the kind of people that we want to work with, because then they would be able to account to issues around the consumers. Yeah.
Well, looking at capacity building, the sector has different players, but then you also need to join them together so that you can form that sync. How is this going to be critical in terms of how this bill works at the end of the day?
I think it's a good opportunity for guys like you to come and talk about it, because there's so many people in marketing. There's digital marketing, advertising, PR, comms. All these people play a component of what marketing is all about. And you see, when what we're trying to really do is bring these people together. And that's why right now we're in the public participation space, and we're trying to get people, come, let's talk about it. Because the ethical, the professionalism of this industry, it needs to be accounted for. We need to be accountable, as a society and as an industry, of what messaging we're putting out there, because the people who get affected at the end of the day are the consumers. And so we're very strong on public participation. We're really trying to drive more people to engage and participate, tell us what they think about this. And like I said, the dynamics of marketing are really changing. We want to hear what digital marketing people are talking about. These are people who may not have gone for a course, but what can we do to make them become certified? These influencers that we get, how are we able to make them credible? That's what we want them to also come on board and tell us. These are the kind of courses that we need to do. We also want to benchmark with international countries, international bodies, and that's why this is the first, but we are continuing to engage.
Okay. Yeah. And you touched on accountability, and right now we are in a political season where we're seeing politics and PR, communication, advertisements going left, right, and center. Is this something that should be regulated right now?
I think it's important to maintain an ethical standard when we're talking about politics, because we have seen historically in this country, politics influences everything, including business. And that uncertainty of having a business environment that is influenced by politics affects our economic value. A business will make a strategy for 5 years before an election. What happens after the election? Will they move to another county and stuff like that? So definitely politics has a big part to play. And you see, political marketing has now become a center of a conversation in everything that we're doing. And it influences not only the marketing sector, but also the businesses and the business environment in general. So it's important to have an ethical standard. And I think the bill is one of the ways that people, again, can come and talk about how do we ensure that, what people are putting out there is credible. How do we ensure that these manifestos that are being put out how will people achieve them? That the billboard should not talk just about the manifesto, but how is it going to be achieved? How do we maintain the credibility? The accountability is what I'm saying. How will these things that you're talking about be achieved? How will we be able to play that? As MSK, we're coming out very strongly on this political space, and we're actually looking to start a national communication campaign. And it goes down to the point of why should you vote? you know, because we're just seeing the billboards. But why should you vote? You know, why is it your right to vote? Why should you go and vote? Why should you, I mean, okay, registration has already finished, but, you know, why should you vote, and why should you vote for the right kind of people? What impact does it have on us as a society, as a community? So we're coming out very strong. We're going to push out a national communication campaign, and we're inviting partners who are also strong on trying to bring the ethical communication or the ethical message of the value of an election to any country to come on board and work with us, so that then we don't just come out as, you know, we're just putting billboards of politicians and telling people to vote, but we're very also conscious on the importance of having a peaceful election, on the importance of voting the right kind of people, on the importance of living the ethical or you know, the ethnicity of a person, but voting them because what they're putting out is going to bring value to us as a country. Yeah.
Coming back to businesses, if you look at this bill and the digital marketing, it's something that they get money, it's paid via M-Pesa. If you look at the celebrities via M-Pesa, and it goes directly to the marketer, right? Is this bill going to affect their income in any particular way? Should they be worried?
Okay. I think the beauty of the bill is that it's more of a self-regulation bill, and it's driven by the society and not necessarily the government, as compared to the digital tax that had been put there. And of course, what I think government was also trying to do was trying to regulate the sector and get something from that, because again, the digital space is growing, you know, and we can't deny it. Tomorrow, you may come up with an app and everyone now goes on it. You know, how do we then change and monitor and readjust ourselves to be able to work with you? And the thing about the MSK bill and why we're calling for people to come and talk about it is those are the things that we want people to come and tell us. Our intention is not to harm anybody. Our intention is really to build the credibility of anyone who is in the marketing space. So if you are an influencer, I mean, you also want to build your capacity in terms of, if you're getting small businesses, you want to be able to get the big FMCGs in this country. You want them to be able to call you as an influencer, as a blogger for them. How do you do that? So as MSK, we want to be able to help you do that. We want to be able to certify you so that when you present yourself to these people, then they see that you're credible, you're valuable. You'll be able to bring back to the business the investment that they put in you. So in terms of them looking out for the costs that that they have been paying, that ideally would not be the role of what this bill is all about. The bill is really to build the credibility of the sector. So we want also those influencers, those celebrities who are being taken up of influencers, because there's different level of influencing. And you see, the beauty of the digital marketing is people are getting to learn every day something new about how they can incorporate it into their brand or into their company. And so we want to help them. You know, we want to help certify them. We want to help them grow. We want to build their capacity at the end of the day, because that's our core business. And we just want it to be a space where we want these big companies to also trust us and trust that as a society, as the regulation or the regulating body of this sector, we're able to certify the right kind of people for them to be able to grow profitably. Because we saw the digital tax come in, and we saw the uproar. You know, these are guys who are trying to make a living and stuff like that. So we want them to come and tell us. You know, we want them to be able, because at the end of the day, we should be able to speak for them as well, you know, as the umbrella body of marketers in this country. And that's what we want to do as well. So we want them to come in, you know, we want to engage. Let's talk about it. How do we govern this digital space so that even our local brands can trust us? Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Now, looking at what COVID and how it has affected the businesses entirely, and obviously the marketing sector was also affected in a way. If you look at the performance now that the virus has sort of reduced, how is the performance like? Is it coming up?
Definitely COVID had a big part to play in everything. But you see, the beauty of marketing is that when COVID came, everyone moved digital.
Yes.
Which was a big space for marketers as well. And you see, it is a marketer who was conversant with the digital space that was able to benefit. So we haven't done a research really in terms of the numbers to be able to share, you know, exact numbers in terms of how that has been affected. But I must say, during the COVID time, going to a digital space and all the influencers or all the marketers that were conversant with digital were able to gain more. A lot of brands also went into the digital space, and the difference, of course, in the digital space is that it occupies a bigger reach.
Yes.
It's less costly than more traditional media, and so maybe more people getting into that may may really influence traditional media. But we don't have a research right now or the exact numbers in terms of that. But I must say, COVID really took everyone into the digital space. We are now seeing virtual billboards. We're seeing digital billboards where people are now putting more videos and no static images. And, I was just recently going through a report, I think it was, that was talking about videos have now become, any brand that wants to sell, you must put it in video. Yeah. And so we're seeing, the diversification of billboards now. They're going into digital billboards, flipping billboards, and stuff like that. So we may not be able to say within 20 years, but we continue to see strong brands still using billboards, because at the end of the day, that's how you still build your loyalty. When you're walking and you see a certain brand, it's still a way for you to be able to build your loyalty. Again, we must focus on the age groups. Still 20 years, we'll still have people who are very trusting on the media that has been used strongly previously. So I think it's the dynamic of the industry is that it continues to change, and some of these things will just change as they are and may not necessarily just fade away.
What should we expect from MSK in terms of assisting the entire sector and the economy at large?
As MSK, again, we're very strong on building the capacity of marketing, comms, and professionals within the industry. And just like I was saying, there's a lot of people within marketing that have not really studied marketing. And we're trying to reach out to these people so we can certify them, we can build their capacity to be able to know, what is the industry all about. So we're very keen to engage people already in the marketing sector and people who are practicing marketing but have not really studied or have not gotten professional certification for that. So we are inviting all those people to come. As MSK, again, we're going to be having conferences, again, very strong on building the capacity. We're bringing speakers, international speakers, to really talk to the industry so that we can benchmark with international bodies, international companies, so that we can grow in terms of our level of marketing. How are we communicating, as a country and as an industry? So we're going to be having our Marketers Summit in June, our Marketers Conference in October, and of course our annual marketing MSK Gala Awards to celebrate the innovation in the industry. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us. Well, that was Rosa Hilda, the communication and marketing manager at MSK, giving us more on an industry that she says continues to change. But with the MSK Bill 2022, the sector is in safe hands. My name is Vincent Odeo.